What's up, everybody? Nice to see you there. My name is Scott. I'm a medium and a psychic, and I'm hanging out with you. Whether you're watching me on Facebook on Scott Davis, Signal Network on YouTube, or my own personal channel, Scotty the Medium, it's nice to have you here. It's lunchtime. This was unscheduled, and unscheduled is usually the coolest and most fun thing. As you come in, let me know where you're from and how's the weather. I am currently in New Jersey. I think it's about, let's see, the old nuclear reactor says it's 50 degrees out, which explains why I'm hiding away in here because if I go outside, I'm gonna have to do something called yard work. And nobody likes to do that. We like to be in the shelter of our homes. But what happens in the shelter of our homes? Sometimes there are things that we can't explain that happens. I myself, while setting up this live stream, heard a creepy noise come out of the corner over here, and it sounded like the single stroke of a canopy playing. And I do have a keyboard back here, but it's electronic and about 30 years old or better, and there's no way that it made it sound. So that was something creepy that happened to me while I was just setting this up so that we could have a chat. Let's say hi to some folks here. We have Deb. What's up, Deb? Nice to see you there. Jenny's here. Craig's here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's up? Kara, nice to see you there. Anna's here. Sunshine Girl's here. Hello from Central PA. Hi. Let's see. Sylvia's here. Nice to see you there. Welcome in. Nicole Wilson's at work. What? That's where the best place to listen to this is probably. Quilting Mama. Hey, what's up from Upland, California? Nice to see you there. So also let me know, where are you watching? Are you on Facebook or YouTube, and which channel? Um, I have some videos queued up that I'm going to play. This is from a personal paranormal investigation that I partially got involved in. And I just love showing this footage because it's so cool. It's really one of those things, and it could go either way. So when we're talking about this, I just want to let you know. When I talk about stuff, I don't step on anybody's toes. I just like to be open minded about everything. But the one thing I think most investigators can agree on, if you're a paranormal investigator, is that most of the time, orbs in photographs and videos are probably just dust. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're like, what are you talking about? Dust orbs, ghosts? What do you mean? Well, this is what I would like you to do. Tonight, when the sun goes down, go to your couch or your bed or a pillow even, turn the lights out and smack the surface of that object, the bed, the pillow, or your couch. And then with your cell phone, I want you to take a picture with the flash on, and seemingly you will have what some might call hundreds of thousands of ghosts in your immediate vicinity. But no. It's not ghosts. It is simply just dust orbs, right? And I think that most of us, when we watch video footage, we are like, dust orb, bug, that's definitely not a ghost. And we have a million reasons why we think dust orbs aren't ghosts, but I'm not here to stir that pot. Believe me, I'm actually leaning the other way. In a couple minutes, I'm going to show you a video from a personal piece of evidence that was shared with me from a homeowner, not a paranormal investigator. They got in touch with me and asked my opinion on it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story in the case, and then we'll talk about the video. I'll show it to you. There's two clips. And both of them are equally cool. So hopefully here in a couple minutes, you'll be sticking around. We'll check it out. Let's say hi to some more folks here. Hi from Bond in Illinois. Nice to see you there. Welcome. 40 degrees. Not bad. Candy's watching on YouTube, Delaware, YouTube. Rosemary, what's up? Steve's watching here with us. Nice to see you there. Lots of YouTubers. Nice to see you there. Welcome. So no matter where you're hanging out with me, it's nice to have you here. Make sure you're hitting the like, subscribe, and share button, all those things, especially if you're into the spooky and the paranormal and the unexplained. And heck, you might even be into Bigfoot and aliens, and I'm cool with that too, because I also love Bigfoot and aliens. I love them from a distance. I think that if I ever met them, I might be a little bit freaked out, and being freaked out's okay, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not be. So let's just stick with ghosts, because those don't scare me quite half as much as the possibility of an 8-foot skunk ape that hides behind 6-foot trees and is completely invisible to you and I. And also aliens. Can you please share your shuttle technology with us? Because I would also like to get to work in 0.2 seconds. Okay, that means I could be here now and at work just that quick. We all want that. Okay, please share that with us, aliens, if you exist. Sec says, whoa, wasn't expecting live Scotty on YouTube today. Hello. Hi from TikTok fan club. What's up? How are you? Princeton, Indiana's here in the house. Nice to see you there. Welcome. So so you guys want to see some cool paranormal footage? It's really interesting. And again, it is a video that is there's an orb, but then some other things happen. And I'm going to show you one clip and then the second clip, and it's very interesting. And basically, the story behind this is the person's mother passed away. She passed in the home. She passes away and leaves her family this house, and it's vacant for a little while. Classic horror story, right? Mom dies in the house, and then the house is vacant. Then what happened in between? Seances, parties? No, this house was completely fine. It was their family home for many, many years, and basically, the lady moved in for a couple of weeks. She was cleaning it up. She's a professional of a teacher, I believe, if I remember correctly, and so she moves in this house and she starts having experiences with lights turning on and off, other like footsteps and ghostly whispers and all the good ghost stuff. So she has all of these things happening, and finally she gets like annoyed because the lights in the house keep turning on and off, and she's like, I need to capture this happening because it happens when I'm going to bed at night. So she bought a little Ring camera. I don't have one sitting here, but we all have a Ring camera laying around somewhere, something similar, right? Chime, Ring, whatevs. So she buys a little Ring camera and she sets it up in her house, and she's like, I just got to have proof of the lights turning on or off after I'm going to bed, so she could prove that she wasn't crazy. It's happening. Is it right? So that's what happens to a lot of us. We're like, I need to prove this either way, whether I'm experiencing it and nobody else ever will, or I'm going to experience it and then I'll have proof of it. Right. So I have another case like that, which we can share very soon, and we'll talk about that craziness. But for now, let's stick with this one because I have it queued up. So here's the first clip. Okay. It's really interesting. I'm going to bring it up on the screen, and you all tell me what you think about this. Okay, here we go. So this is just a shot of the living room. You can see there's a set of steps, there's a little dresser, a couch over there, and some other things. So just a normal, and you can see it's very tidy, which I really appreciate when we're looking at this kind of stuff. So here we go. So the Ring camera, if you don't know, needs to be activated by motion to get turned on, right? So as we're watching this, it's just like completely still, but something turned this on. There, do you see that dust orb go right there? Let's see if we can bring it back a little bit. I'll show you. So look right up on the bottom here. Oh, there goes the light on and off. Watch now. Here we go. That dust orb is going to come flying through here, or it already has. But the light turning on and off was the main thing. She didn't expect to see the orb. So we're going to do that again. And I want you all, oh, there's the dust orb again. So we're going to watch. She's in bed. She's asleep. She's upstairs asleep. Okay. And this is what happens. The light comes on and off. And then moments later, we have a dust orb. So check that out. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think that this is paranormal, or do you think that this can be explained? And again, remember, this is somebody who was looking for answers. They didn't want to be on a ghost show. They didn't put this on YouTube. Well, we are kind of now, but this isn't somebody looking for attention. And there goes another orb. This was somebody who was experiencing the paranormal in their home, like many of us have, and went looking for answers. So we're going to watch it again, and then I'll show you the second clip. All right. So this is, okay. So let's watch. This is very interesting. I forgot about this part. Okay. Oh, this is the second. Is this the second one? Yeah. Okay. So in this one, you hear the bell ring. Okay. The bell's going to ring. There's that giant orb. Now watch up the steps. Watch up the steps. You're going to see a little flicker, and it's an orb. Watch. There's a couple of them. Okay. Then it looks like there's movement on the steps. A little dust orb. Oh, I get the chills every time. The light turns on and off. What? Like, what is happening here? Holy cow. So imagine you are at home alone. Your mom passed. You're in your this childhood home, and you're like, the lights keep turning on and off. You call your siblings, you call whoever in your family, you call the Ghostbusters. Ray Stantz doesn't believe you, and you're like, I need to find somebody who believes me. And first thing I'm going to do is gather evidence, which is the best thing to do, I think. And she noticed the pattern. This happened when she went to bed. This wasn't happening when she was awake. It wasn't happening during the daytime when she's awake. It was specifically at the time of going to bed. We'll watch again in a minute. So how many of you folks here, show your hands, you have had paranormal activity happening in your house, and you were brave enough to go and get a camera and film it, or try to do some ghost hunting in your own home. If you've ever done that, let me know down in the comments, because that's brave. Let's see. Let's see. Orb. A lot of people seeing the orb. You all saw it. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Hi, Lee Char Sky. Nice to see you there. Welcome in. Yeah, it looks. Jenny says it looks legit, and I have to agree. It does look pretty legitimate, if you ask me. Um, so it's really very interesting. I just saw this morning with my cat. Oh, hi. Nice to see you there. You had it happen at work all the time, says Mr. Turk. Oh, that's crazy. Sec says it keeps happening in the bathroom, and my partner won't let me put a cam in there. Haha. Well, yeah, let's keep private moments are private, but we have I'll have to dig out the footage. It's on a very old YouTube channel that I'll have to do research at this point to find. But it was the first group I ever belonged to, first paranormal investigation group I ever belonged to, investigated a house not too far from me. And one of the claims was the lady said that I have to be careful about how I say this. The lady's husband decided to take matters into his own hands as he passed. Does that make sense? You guys all get it. Certain things on social media you can't say anymore, so that's okay. So you all get it, right? He unalived himself. Okay, so um, in the house, there were all of these like crazy things happening, a lot of lights turning on and off, stomping throughout the house, bad odors, all of the things that you would expect from a very unhappy spirit or ghost, right? So she calls us in, and we set up cameras everywhere, and there is something very strange that happens. So in her bedroom, so we'll say we're in her bedroom now, and that would be the bathroom, the door behind me. We set a static camera up, which just means in ghost hunting terms, we turned a camera on in a room and left it by itself running. Normally, you wouldn't do this for any other reason besides really, I guess, ghost hunting or observation, right? So we turned it on, and throughout the night, without us knowing it, because we weren't in the bedroom, the light in the bedroom or in the bathroom kept turning on and off. And it wasn't just the light turning on and off, it was also accompanied with the sound of the clicking light switch. So something was physically, possibly maneuvering or manipulating the light switch in the bathroom to turn the lights on and off. And we know that it wasn't her because she was with us during the entire investigation. So that is a pretty wild piece of evidence, which I will find, and I'll bring it out for another lunchtime sesh of ghost talk. So what's up, everybody? Nice to see you there. Mr. Turk says, I used to work night security. I had a rock throw at me in the hallway. Woo! Did you quit? Because that ain't very secure. That would scare the living daylights out of me. I would not be interested in that, my man. Let's see what else. Hey, Ed, what's up? You've done orb hunting in your house. Sometimes we might just call it we might just call that not orb hunting, but cleaning and dusting. Lysol, the best Ghostbuster on the planet. So let's watch this footage again. If you're just joining us for the first time, what's up? My name is Scott. I am a medium and a psychic. I'm hanging out with you here on Facebook and YouTube, either on the Signal Network or with you on my own personal channel, Scotty the Medium. It's nice to have you all. If you haven't yet, please do me a favor, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And before I show you the footage again, let me tell you a little bit about what's coming up in the new year. So if you don't know this part, I am part owner in the Signal Network, which is a network dedicated to bringing you real paranormal investigations, real opinions, real science, and real knowledge around the unknown. We are currently working on developing some new projects, and we're putting everything together for the year 2026 to bring you the best in paranormal investigations. You will get more things just like this, analytical views at interesting paranormal stuff, not just me acting silly and reacting to paranormal ghost things, but actual legitimate, like, let's look at it like we're doing with this footage and see what we all think about it, right? Because we all can experience the paranormal in different kinds of ways. And you know what? We definitely need to come together with our ideas to figure out what's going on out there, right? So, Signal Network, from ghosts, cryptids, yes, you Bigfoot, aliens, government conspiracies, the whole gamut, you're going to be able to find that right on the Signal network. So if you're watching on Signal right now, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot more of that kind of thing coming your way. We have a lot of great creators that are helping make the Signal network even better, and we are working on even more coming your way very soon. So if you're watching me on Scotty the Medium, it's nice to have you here. Make sure you go ahead and go back and watch some of my videos, no matter where you're watching. And if you're on YouTube, on either of those channels, thanks for hanging out with us. On Facebook, it's nice to see you there. I am the guy who's asked you a million times by now, and I have more coming. If I was standing in line with you at the Starbucks and tapped you on the shoulders and said your loved one is looking to speak from you from the other side, would you let me pass that message? Overwhelmingly, yes, which I think is really comforting these days, because I think that asking that question 100 years ago might have gotten me thrown in a river, possibly with a bunch of stones on top of me. So thanks for being cool, society, for the most part. So let's see who else we got here. So Karen says, I have a pendulum clock that hasn't worked in years. Suddenly before Christmas, it's ticking, swinging, but always set at 11:30. No clue how or why. That's really interesting. I just said to my friend Lauren Hellickson, who is our resident scientist over here at Signal, I was having a beverage, and I shot her a message, and I was in a little bit of a deep thought. And I said, "Hey, Lauren, um, I wonder if we should find a way to test time around somebody having a psychic or mediumship experience or a paranormal one. I wonder if time somehow changes in the moment of a paranormal experience, but you as the experiencer may not realize it. But I bet there's a way for us to measure it. So we're going to think about that." Let's see. At the historic Hollywood Hotel on Melrose in Los Angeles, California, mostly noises and funky dreams. Ooh, that's cool. I got to get out there. I got to go check that out. Craig, you want to come hang out with me there? Maybe you can show me the ropes. Um, that's interesting. Yeah, it is very interesting, right? I worked in the office of a marble quarry, and the office building was really old. We hear footsteps on the stairs when no one was there, and doors opening, closing when no one was there. Also, that's some just Robin. So that is really interesting. I think that this is another thing that we were just talking about with Chris Mendez on the Signal Network on his podcast the other night. Was, do you think that digging into the earth in massive scale upsets spirits, ghosts, elementals, fairies, the fae, whatever you might want to call them? Does it upset the ground so much and release energy that then turns into poltergeist kind of activity? I don't know. It's a good question. Lee Char says, Scott, do you still work with Dalen Spratt? I really miss you. Dalen, hey buddy. Dalen's family's going through a little something right now. That's their personal stuff. They're okay. Everything's all right. Just something, whatever. I just had messaged him. Great minds think alike. And I said, Dalen, we got a couple things we got to plan. One, Graveyard Fest 2026 in Gettysburg. We got to get the details together so we can get the word out. Two, Dalen and I are going on a road trip this year. I don't know where to yet. I don't think he's going to tell me, because I'm going to do the mediumship part of everything that we're up to. But Dalen and I are going to take a road trip. So yeah. And I also said, Dalen, we got to get back to doing some lives together on YouTube, because I think I miss your audience. I think they miss me. Let's hang out and charge us. We miss you. Okay. I'll be there soon. As soon as Dalen's good to go, we'll be back on it. Let's see. The next Paramount. Oh, right next to Paramount Studios. Many things there, but I felt at home and protected. Oh, wow. That's really interesting. And that is from Sylvia. So let's see what else we got here. Our quarry was the largest open pit quarry. They went down into the ground. Wow. Holy cow. So without saying too much about where my friend lives, but she lives in Ohio, producer Kay, she lives on what was an active quarry for many, many years. And the first night I ever stayed at Miss Kay's house when we were filming Phantom Forensics, I had some of the most crazy, horrific nightmares I've ever had in my life. And it might have had something to do with the open quarry there. Maybe there was still residual energy that was just pouring out of it because of the hole that was left there. Very interesting. I wonder if people in the Grand Canyon experience anything, or maybe not, because that was naturally made. So does that make a difference? Like when the asteroid hit the earth and boom went all the dinosaurs, did other things that lived here from this planet, like millions of years ago or hundreds of years ago before that come up out of the earth as spirits and haunt the dinosaurs that were slowly dying, and they were having dinosaur conversations, and they were like, "Jim, I don't know if you could believe this, but I'm seeing ghosts of my great great granddaddy dinosaur, granddad Timmy." And his buddy was like, "Dude, you're crazy. There's no such thing as ghosts. And besides, we're trying to just make it through this ice age. You're crazy." Anyway, forgive me. Sometimes I go off on tirades. You guys want to see this footage again? Let's watch this footage again. So this is a house local to me. It was sent to me by a trustworthy person. And she was not looking for any fame or publicity. She didn't put this up on the internet anywhere. It was a question of, Scott, what do you think this is? And if I need to investigate further, can we? And here we go. Let's put it up on the stage again. Here we go, baby. So there's the bell ring. Oh, so that was the first video. Okay, so all you heard was the bell ring, right? And it's like we all know from the people in restaurants like my dad who don't turn off their ring notification, dad, um, that we can all hear that somebody is walking up your driveway, ringing your bell, or driving by the house. Folks, please, if you are going to have a ring doorbell when you're in public, at least turn the chime down. Crying out loud. You could be like me. I keep my phone on do not disturb. It's on do not disturb right now, and I kind of like it that way. All right, here we go. Let's play the next one. So here comes the orb from the back of the house, up the camera. There's the ring. Oh man, where's the other one? Okay, here we go. This is the right one. Then, oh, come on, Billy. This one? I'm having a tough day, guys. Forgive me. That's the short one again. This is the long one. Yes. Okay. So here comes the orb from the back of the house and up. The doorbell rings. And I think it's interesting if you can expand this at all on your screen, you can see that there are other pigmentations happening as these orbs are moving around. Now that could just be the IR light on the ring camera, and I'll explain to you a little bit of the science. There's the light turning on and off, which is so wild. And I'll explain to you a little bit of the science of IR lights and dust. It's pretty easy to understand. Did you see the movement on the stairs? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we'll talk a little bit about what let me see if I can pause it just right and get on the light anomaly here, so that I can talk about it in a pretty easy way for you to understand. So there's kind of the light anomaly down there on the screen. You can see it's down by the legs of the table there. So what happens is when you have a camera, right? Like I'm talking to you on a camera right now, the light is behind the camera, right? And it's reflecting this way. So anything that's on this side reflects light back to the camera lens, and that's how we have good lighting for television and broadcast and all that kind of stuff, right? But what happens when I want to see if I have anything shiny here, which I never have anything shiny at my desk. I guess I don't even have a mirror here, for crying out loud, Scott. Of all the things you have, you don't even have a mirror at your desk. Okay. So let's just pretend I have something shiny. Let's say I have this. That's kind of shiny. Okay. So this can go through the frame and it stays relatively fine, right? It's round, it's not giving off much light, but what happens, kind of like a mirrored surface, once it catches right, now you can't see what this is anymore. Now, if this was a really bright reflective light, this would be so bright, like when you get your watch in the light or whatever, right? The light would reflect, it would get really big, and then it would look even crazier. It might look like a giant spaceship in front of my face. But that's just how orbs work. So those little tiny, tiny little dust particles, when they are getting IR light hit at them and hit just right, they get circular looking. And then what happens is the lens of the camera is also wide open, because remember, this is infrared. This is like night vision, right? So the light is already on purpose amplified to bring in as much as possible. And then something else strange happens. You may not know this, but basically what happens is, so we're using a web camera right now. The web camera is actually taking all of this stuff in real time. There's nothing here that it has set in place so that it doesn't have to worry about the memory of the camera. But what I have found is that many cameras, many of them, especially infrared and night vision cameras, they sort of take a photograph almost of the area that once they're set and surveillance, and then they don't record that anymore. They only record the movement that is happening on top of it. So a layer on top of it that is being recorded. So sometimes when we see pigmentations in the field that we're looking at in the camera, basically what's happening is you're just kind of looking at a still, and then the motion is captured on top of it. And then the camera actually will catch up and catch everything in real time again. It's really interesting. I had watched a couple videos on, believe it or not, Hollywood VFX video experts explain about this. And I love video and production and stuff, so I like to know that anyway. But there was a really practical reason for me to want to know why that was happening, and they gave a really good explanation, and I think it's one that we can apply pretty often to what we're talking about. So let's watch this video again, and now think about it in that term. Okay, so now think about the orbs as maybe possible dust that are just expanding in the light of the IR. But what makes this video so interesting is, number one, are dust orbs big enough to set off the Ring camera? We might have to do an experiment, Lauren. Number two, are orbs strong enough to turn lights on and off in someone's home? I don't think so. So let's watch this video again, and you guys let me know in the comments. Don't forget, again, like, subscribe, and share this. Let your friends, your beagle, your mom, your dog, your grandfather, your grandmother, the third grade teacher that you didn't get along with that well, I know who you are. You get to see this video because we're having a good time. So here we go. Dust orb up, chiming my dad somewhere in the house, maybe. Now what happens? The orbs go up. They change direction, which is also another really interesting fact. They go up the steps. Loud noise. Lights on and off. Some more, if you listen carefully, there's more clicking. And then you have to keep in mind that this person was asleep when this was recorded, and the only person in the house. There's nobody else. So what do you guys think about that video? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you think it was spooky or not. Is it an orb? Is it ghosts? You tell me. Let's see. Lee says they have found woolly mammoth along the coastline in California while diving to build. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That's so cool. I really like that kind of stuff when we find that stuff. Catherine says, "Hey Scotty, love you. What a doll." Oh, love what you do. I got to get my eyes checked, but I will take a what a doll also. Uh, it was cool, not scary, spooky. Yeah, so that's just like the beginning of how paranormal investigations happen. So a lot of times it hasn't happened as much lately, unfortunately. I don't know if I think in the coming future there will be more, but basically I used to get a lot of phone calls from people throughout the years, or emails and stuff like, hey, I have one sitting right now and I have to get to it. Hey, our house has this like weird stuff going on, can you help us? And sometimes I don't have the ability to get there, but if they have video footage like that, I'll say, yeah, send it over, and I'll give you a very grounded version of what I think is happening here. So I like to give a very grounded version of what's happening with the orbs. And I can even give you a grounded reason for the light switch, if you would like to hear it, because I have had to do research on light switches to figure out if something was paranormal or not. So a friend of mine worked in an old building down in the basement, and the walls were all painted cinder block, right? So an old building. So he would tell me that late at night, the lights in the hallway specifically would turn on and off while he was there late at night. And this is somebody who is not, I'm not going to say he's not afraid of ghosts. He probably is, but I will tell you that he's very skeptical but open-minded as well. So he came to me and said, Scott, what do you think? Is this ghost? What are you thinking about it? And I said, all right, let's find out. So we went to the building and I played with the light switch a little bit. And then I was like, I don't know. It feels like it was so tight in the wall that you would actually have to like really apply a lot of pressure to push it up or down. But I said, let me look into it. And come to find out that old light switches that have been in the wall for a very long time, even if they are still affixed tightly inside the bracket, when they're in cinder block, the cinder block can cool and heat. And what happens when that happens? So if you don't know what this is so dumb. I would have never thought about this for any other reason but because of ghosts. Okay. And to debunk something. So, and not because I'm a jerk debunker, but because, no offense, debunkers, we need you. But because I want to come up with a good explanation. I want to know if it's a ghost or not, because if it is not, then I'm not going to waste my time. So this is how it looks. It's very silly. There are basically inside of a light switch, click, click, the old kind. There are two arrows and they go like this. They're two pieces of metal and they go like this, bink, bink. And the piece of plastic that you push up and down has to get in between the two pieces of metal to turn it off and on. That's why you hear a clicking sound. And that's when the circuit is on, it's up, and when the circuit is down, it's off. But it has to get through what's called the gate. But the gate is metal, so it can be affected by hot and cold. The whole light switch can, and especially when it is underground in cement or brick wall, right? Or cement wall. So that's what I think was happening. At nighttime, the ground would cool off because the sun was gone, and as it would cool off, it would do its thing and it would retract and click, the light switch would click. There you go. Not ghosts, not paranormal. So could I apply that to this house that we're looking at? This light turn on and off? Yeah, I absolutely could. It would not be a stretch for me to say, watching this video, that this is an old house. I don't know what the walls are made out of, but it wouldn't be a stretch for me to say, like, I believe that you were in bed, but I can also say to you that I've investigated light switches before, silly enough sounding, and the light turning on and off could be just that, moisture, and that's what a lot of ghosts are, just moisture, believe it or not. So yeah, we could do that, but we don't want to be a jerk about it. We want to be nice and give a good rational explanation and not just say, I don't know, demons. So, I've learned so much about the natural world around me because of the paranormal and the supernatural world that is around me as well. So I hope you guys are getting something out of this. I really like to give good rational explanations for the world around us. And in order to do that, sometimes I got to learn too. Often I have to learn because I didn't pay a lot of attention in school, unfortunately. Sylvia says, Scott, each medium is different, but are you able to watch videos or look at pictures and just pick spirits up from them? Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the services that I used to offer, but don't anymore because I'm too busy, was photo readings for people. So basically, if you thought your house was haunted, you could send me a photograph, not tell me anything. Just say, they'd say, I think my house is haunted. Can you help me? And I'd say, okay, here's what you need to do, without telling me anything else about what you're experiencing. Take like 5 or 6 pictures of the places in your house where you think it's happening. Take a picture of the backyard and the front yard. I don't need your address, none of that stuff. Just send me the photos. And then I could literally just tune into it and kind of remote view into the space and then walk around and see if I bumped into any ghosts. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And yeah, so that's something that I'm absolutely able to do. I never really tried it with video, but I suppose it's the same thing. But when I'm watching a video, my rational brain is really engaged and not my mediumship brain, if that makes sense. So that's a good question. Yeah. I know Studio 27 and Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, California is haunted. Yeah, I think they did an investigation out there a couple years ago, like 2 or 3 Halloweens ago. A couple of my TikTok friends were invited, not me for some reason, were invited out there to investigate for a Warner Brothers thing. So yeah, I think that's the stage that they filmed Wizard of Oz on, right? And people think that there are some spirits kicking around in there. So that's cool. I would love to go out to Hollywood and investigate. I'm sure, California has trillions. That's a new word we're going to use. Trillions of mediums, as does everywhere. We're all mediums to some degree. We all have the spiritual ability to some degree. So I think we're everywhere. It's just people are starting to wake up and get with it and realize what they are. So Joelle says, not long after my cat passed, I got a beta fish. The tank lights switch on off, party lights on their own all the time. No timer on the lights. Maybe it was your ghost cat swiping at the fish and it just kept hitting the lights. That's what I would like to believe. So I'm not going to take away anything from you. That really could have been your ghost cat. The Shanley Hotel where I'm going to be with Cindy Keza, I believe June. No, I'm going to be with Dalen. No, I'm going to be with Chris Mendez in June on June 19th. I'm going to be with Cindy Kaza in July, I believe, and then Dalen again out in August. But back to the Shanley Hotel, where I will be with Cindy Kaza. I'll get those dates out to everybody. If you like Cindy Kaza from the Holzer Files, first off, lovely human, wonderful medium, great person. Her and I will be hosting events at the very haunted Shanley Hotel. You can visit there and get tickets already. They're on sale, and you better get them quick because anywhere Cindy goes, there ain't seats left. I'll tell you that right now. I am the sidekick always, and I'm okay with that because Cindy's so wonderful. Just go visit us at the hauntedShanleyHotel.com. You can go to the special events tab and you can look down and you can get your tickets there for that event. And as more things come out, I will go ahead and bring you more. So Craig says, no, the Wizard of Oz was at MGM in Culver City. Maybe newer versions. Nope, you were right. I might have had my studios crossed. I don't know that much. I just try to remember what I can about those kinds of things. But thank you for correcting me, and I appreciate it. Because that's the more I know. Rainbow, the more I know. So, anyways, at the Shanley Hotel, they have a ghost cat. Yes, they have a ghost cat. I don't know who named it, but somebody named it Sweet Thing. Good name for a cat. Hey, Sweet Thing. And then you get punched in the face by a lady. No. So, I have never personally seen this cat, mediumship wise or other. I've never seen it. Everybody tells me it's there. So a couple years ago, I bring my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's in her 20s. I bring her to the Shanley Hotel on New Year's Eve for a little thing that we're doing there, and we're sitting in the Shanley Hotel dining room for a lack of better description. And behind me is a door, kind of like this one, and I'm talking to my daughter like I'm talking to you, and she's in front of me, and we're having a conversation, and she's got a little face like this, and then she just looks over my shoulder through the doorway, and she goes, "Huh, I didn't know they have a cat." I said, "What?" And I turned around and I said, "There's no cat there, Kimberly." And she said, "Yeah, there's a black and tan and white a little bit." And I said, "You got to see the ghost cat." She saw it with her own eyes. She thought it was a real cat. But my daughter loves, 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 loves animals and cats. So of course, Sweet Thing would show up for her. Have any of you ever seen a ghost cat or a ghost animal? Period. If so, what was that about? Let me know down in the comments. Speaking of seeing animals, did anybody watching this see Monster Quest on History Channel this last week? Because if you didn't, or if you have Hulu or Disney Plus, where the History Channel is, you can check me out. I was on the brand new first episode, first season of the new Monster Quest TV show on History Channel. I think you should go check that out. It's available on demand. You could probably watch it on your whatever you watch TV on. Just look up the History Channel and Monster Quest season 1, episode 1. You can hear about my strange encounter with a shadow figure while I was on duty as a law enforcement officer. It was pretty crazy. Bond says, my cat passed last September and I've seen him in my bedroom. My 2 other cats have seen him too. Oh, I'm sorry that you lost your kitty. But I'm happy that it's coming around to visit you. That's super sweet, isn't it? He's walked on your bed while I was in it. Oh my goodness. Did that scare you or no? Craig says, on the Navajo reservation near the Four Corners, I've heard animal spirits. Oh, that's really interesting. I don't know if you are yourself native, sir, but I've always been very, very fascinated with the idea of spirit animals, and I don't mean in like the funny sense, like my spirit animal is a skunk or a bear. You know, I mean, like in a real sense of it. Like, what does that actually mean? What are the roots of that in the indigenous people's like culture? Like, why did that come out? Someday, maybe I'll have somebody like you explain that if you can. And yeah, are they physical things? Are they manifestations? We have a lot to explore in this world, and a lot of mainstream science, I think, is finally waking up to the fact that just because they don't believe it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right, folks? Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Um, you know, it's it's one of those crazy ideas that you just have to put yourself in the perspective of an ant, right? And say, like, I live down here on the ground. I'm tiny, tiny. And somebody saying, like, hey, I heard that there's this huge place with all of this water. And the aunt says, I don't think so. I've looked around this backyard everywhere. There's no water here. We have to, wait for the rain to come. And his buddy says, no, no, there's water, man. We know it's, I think I saw some. I climbed up on a tall blade of grass and there was all this blue stuff. And the guy on the ground says, no, I've never seen it and I'll prove it. And he just does his work and is without going to unexpected places. And he never sees the ocean. And the other aunt says, the ocean is real. I've seen it. And I think finally, those of us who have seen things and have been saying it for a long time, we're finally getting through to those other ants. And those other ants are like, huh, maybe we should try listening to these tinfoil hat wearing ants. If you screenshotted that, congratulations. It's yours forever. You can keep it as a screensaver. In my culture, it's explained as a spirit of an animal to protect or provide enlightenment to a path, like a guide. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. So that's on the topic of spirit animals, which is again a very interesting topic to me. I really love the idea of um, not just maybe a human or a angel protecting us, but also an animal, something that is truly connected to the earth um, with no other purpose but to survive and to be nurtured and nurture others in order to instill life. That's animals, isn't it? I know that's what my dog does for me. He's just such a good boy. I love him. Um, Native American, Hispanic, Mexican descent. Okay, very cool. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you, bud. That's Craig. Um, so let's see. Well, we watched a little bit today. We watched a really cool orb video. You guys can let me know down in the comments whether you're watching this on the team replay or if you're watching it live. Just like what do you think about it? What's the deal? Orbs, mostly ghosts, mostly dust. You tell me. I don't know. I think mostly dust, with the rare exception that an orb is something else. What else it is, I don't know. Maybe we'll have our resident scientist, Lauren Hellickson, be able to help us out with that one of these days and explain it to us. And again, maybe it would be cool to do some sort of experiment around dust, orbs, moisture, and with good IR cameras and different kinds of brands and stuff, and just see like, what are you more likely to catch a ghost with or an orb? And Craig says they can come and go in your life and you can ask them for help with problems. So that's cool. That's how a lot of people think about uh spirit guides, right? Like kind of like how you're explaining spirit animals. Like we can be like, please, I need help. Whoever you are, please help me. Right? Whoever it is. And maybe you know their name, maybe you don't. I know my guides' names, and they do. They come and go. They're not interchangeable, but they have different things that they do in our lives for us, right? That's maybe something we should talk about in a future episode like this, where we can talk about, I'll prepare something and we'll talk about spirit guides, angels, spirit animals, and different cultures and beliefs and things like that. I think that would be really fun to go ahead and get behind and try to understand. It's not just, I always say this, and I know we're talking about ghosts, but I think this is right in line with that. So I personally never try to change your belief or your religion or anything about you. That's not my job. My job is to just present things and give my opinion, which are not fact. If something is a fact, believe me, I will tell you, and I'll be so happy that I have a fact about the paranormal in my pocket. But right now, everything is just observation, speculation, and we're trying to figure it out, right? So I I think that part of my job is not only to present to you. I like to be a good leeway between the world of the paranormal, which I do heavily believe in, and the people who may not believe it, but definitely for the people who do. But even the people who are skeptical, come sit down at the table, hang out with us. We want to chat. We want to hear your point of view as well. I know I do, because the more I learn about what you believe and your values, the more I can help make understand of this giant puzzle. Before it's time for me to actually become a part of the puzzle. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the long day, hundo years from now, right now, not right now, I'm 44. So 66 years from now, when I'm ready to join the puzzle, I think 100's fair. Um, God, whoever, hundo, give me 100. Now I just sound like one of my drill instructors. Give me 100. Anyways, we become a part of that puzzle. And then it's our job to try to come here and talk to the mediums and the believers and interact with their cool gear. So yeah, neat. Hi, Catherine. Nice to see you there. Welcome. Your guide's name is Clara. Oh, that's cool. Catherine, what's up? Nice to see you there. You'd love to know your spirit guide's name. So a little off topic for what we're chatting about, but we were going in that direction. So quickly, this is all I can tell you. I once or twice or a couple times have had the pleasure of speaking with Amy Allen, who is, of course, one of the hosts on the Dead Files from History Channel, from Travel Channel, and I picked her brain a little bit about learning about spirit guides because if you're going to learn, you should learn from the best. And I do my best to find the best. And Amy is, without a doubt, one of the most fantastic, not only mediums, but again, people. She's really great. Um, and one of the things that, when I was learning about my abilities and what I do, I said, how do I learn about my spirit guides? I feel like they're yelling at me, but I don't know what what to call them or how to bring them to me, or understand them. So she was like, "Well, you know how to meditate?" And I said, "I meditate all the time." She said, "Good, do your meditation, but before you go and close your eyes and do whatever it is you do, um, just ask them what their name is before you do it." And I said, "That sounds too easy." And she said, "It is easy. It's like asking me my name, right? Same thing. Hey, I'm Scott. Hi, I'm Amy. Nice to meet you." Right? It's just like that. So I said, okay. So I went and don't ask me how to meditate. You can go watch any of my videos on Scotty the Medium YouTube channel. They are there. There's lots of them. Plus guided meditation and unguided meditation music for you that I have personally put together that I helps me meditate the best. So Um, so I went ahead and I went home and I laid down and I put my headphones and my blindfold on and I got real comfortable, put on my music, and then I said, "Okay, I need to know your name." And within about 45 seconds of being into the meditation, I had a name and it was very relevant. It was crazy. And it's not one that I could have made up because it's not like a guide, a relative or something like that or something else. And I'll tell you that story another time when we talk about spirit guides and spirit animals and spirit culture. Spirit culture. Spirit culture. Good times. Um, So Lee says, "What did you pick up from watching this clip? Do you see the things in this? If you can pick up on the information from the pictures." So honestly, what happened was, and this is just the way it works, is when I got sent this clip, it was ha it's hard to explain. You have to develop a relationship with people, when you're going to investigate with them, or investigate for them rather, like, it's a big ask for you as a homeowner to say, "Hey, I need a stranger to come in my house to investigate for ghosts that I don't even know if I believe in," right? So it's kind of a big ask, right? So, um, basically when this got sent to me, she sent me an email that kind of gave me all of the information. So there wasn't anything really left for me to psychically pick up, if you know what I mean. Like she didn't know not to send me nothing, right? She didn't just send me a note that said, "Hey, my house is haunted. Can you help?" She sent me a thing and I was interested. So I read the whole thing. And when I was done, I said, "Well, just send me the video since you have that kind of evidence," which is this. We'll play it again. And I thought that, it wouldn't be fair to me to have all of the information she gave me and then try to do a reading. So to answer your question in short, no, I don't get anything from this, because I feel as though I knew too much going in. That's just partially how I work as a medium. I don't. The more I know about a location, the way less accurate it's going to be from my side. Believe it or not, because then it forces me to omit the pieces of it that I do know already, which could lead to the bigger story of what's going on. So I would actually have another medium or psychic that I trust read this before without telling them anything before I stepped in with my own opinion. But we'll watch the video again. It's a pretty neat one. So if you're watching for the first time, this is our ring video that was sent. It's an actual case that I worked on briefly. What you saw there was an orb come from the back of the house where the kitchen is. You can hear the doorbell chime going off. This is a ring camera, as you can see there. So you hear the chime going off. And then I believe we see a couple more orbs. And again, orbs could just be dust, but it's interesting because in this clip, you can see the orbs go straight up, which is where the next very interesting piece of evidence happens. So we're just watching here. And basically, you see the orb at the very top of the steps go, and then light on, light off. The lady who sent this to me was asleep. This was taken, if I remember correctly, I would have to look at my notes again, but around like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. She's the only occupant. There's nobody else there. I believe her mom passed away in the house a couple months prior to this. She may not have passed in the house, but I kind of remember her saying she did. But I will look into that in my notes and see if I wrote that or not. But anyway, this is the more interesting piece of it. Of course, I like to be as transparent about everything that I do, so you guys can have all the information as I pass along and tell you these very interesting stories I get to be involved with. It's one of the coolest things about the paranormal is the adventures that I've had because people trust me to come into their homes and investigate. It means a lot to me. I'm not just there to tell the story of the cool paranormal stuff that's happening, but I also want to tell the story of the location. I want to tell the story of the people. I want to get, if a ghost is haunting someplace, why are they there? Do they have a story they want to tell? Were they done wrong? Was there a piece of their story that's not quite right? Yes, that happens so often, and we as mediums and psychics and investigators have this incredible responsibility. When you step into this ring, you're not here to make money. You're not here to be famous. If you are stepping into this ring, you have a job, and your job is to tell the story and tell it right, and get as many facts as you possibly can right. Overlay the ghost story to help um, validate the history, help the history validate the ghost stuff. It's very, very important. Um, the other stuff comes later, right? It's cool to have some notoriety in the paranormal. I don't think anybody could ever be famous really doing this unless they have movies made about them, like some. Big shout out to those, the pioneers, the Warrens, amazing folks. Um, we're just here to present what we have, and I gotta say it's never going to be about fame or money or any of that stuff, because you don't get any of that walking around in the dark looking for ghosts, I promise you. But what we can have is a little bit of notoriety, respectability, and that goes a long way for me. That's what I like the most, when somebody calls me that I respect and they're like, hey, I got a case, I need to pick your brain about some. That is the highest form of respect that I think there is. Not, hey, we're going to be on a TV show. You want to go? I don't know. Do I? Let's talk about that first. But if you got a haunted house and you're a respected colleague, then yes, I will come and help you. I love it. So that's the best. Hi. Hi, everybody. Love that explanation of how you're here to help. Yeah, that's it. That's definitely, that's Jenny Colucci, by the way. She's commenting here on YouTube. Yeah, so definitely here to help. It's very important. Jenny is one of those folks. She goes into places to help. And Jenny, if you want, if you're can I do this? Oh, there you go. So check, that's Jenny. She's so lovely. We love her so much. She runs her own paranormal podcast that you can find on Facebook. Seekers of the Paranormal, I believe is what it's called. If you want to put it up there so I don't get it wrong and everybody can check it out, go ahead and put the name of your podcast down there. I apologize that I don't know it exactly offhand, even though I look at all of your lovely stuff every day and listen when I can. This is another person who's really loved, by the way. Wonderful in the paranormal community, does a lot to help, brings a lot of her own notoriety to places like the Ritz Theater in South New Jersey. It's a really cool place. I have been there, I believe, twice, and both times very, very cool, interesting, and there we go. This is why I couldn't remember the whole thing, but here you go, folks. Make sure you take a screenshot of this. Check out their podcast. It's really lovely. And her co-host is Anthony Seminelli, who is a really lovely human being. He's also a medium, and he does something really cool, which is called spirit art. So I am no artist, folks. If you see the art that I do during readings, you would laugh because it is trash. Basically, I just draw stick figures and hope that I'm doing the best I can with that. But Anthony is a pretty darn good artist, and he is able to see spirit and then sketch it out and put it down. And it's remarkable how close he gets to the actual spirits when he does a spirit sketch and somebody shows him a photo of it. It's crazy. So you are definitely seeing this person. It's amazing. So check out their podcast, please. If you're looking for more paranormal entertainment, you should definitely check them out. They are lovely and great people, and great in the paranormal community. So yeah. Okay, so I've been going for about 45 minutes, which is about my limit for talking here. So I want to say thanks to everybody for joining in with me today. I appreciate you. Again, leave a comment down below in the regular video comments. Let me know what you think about this topic. Dust, ghosts, orbs, what do you think? Did you think the video was compelling? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. What other kinds of videos would you like me to review? Do you have some that you would like for me to talk about for 45 minutes on a 15-second clip? If so, let me know. You can send any kind of video or even photo evidence that you have. You can send it to Scotty njmedium@gmail.com. Don't email me for readings because I have a full book and no time. What was I doing? I was going to write a comment down here and I messed it up. But again, if you need that email, I'm going to see if I can type it in here. It's Scotty, SCOTTY, NJ medium at gmail.com. I'm going to just do that and I'll put it up here. Show. So just do Scotty njmedium@gmail.com. That's how you can send me if you have a piece of cool paranormal evidence that you would like me to review. If you have a cool photograph, we can do it right here. It's a ton of fun. It's really interesting. I love it. And believe me, I will be as kind to your evidence as I am to my own. I will not be like, that's baloney. No, I'm going to look at it. We'll analyze it. We'll talk about why it could and maybe why it couldn't be paranormal. I think that that's one of the most fun things that I get to do as an investigator and a medium. And maybe we can even do some photo readings for fun here live. And I'll let you know if I'm going to use your photo. So again, thanks for joining me, everybody. That's just something that we can do here on a weekly basis. It's a lot of fun. I love doing this live. It's one of my favorite places to sit and spend my time is with you guys. So thanks for spending your lunch break with me. I hope it was really great. If you're watching this at a different time, thank you so much. No matter what time it is, where you are, what you're watching, what you're eating, or whatever else you might be doing, you keep it to yourself. But you can do this. Don't keep this video to yourself. Hit the share button, share it on your Facebook, share it on your YouTube, put it on your Twitter, your Instagrams, your TikTokies, all those places. And make sure you're following us here wherever you're watching this video because we have so much cool stuff to bring you. And I can't wait to help you do that. So thanks again, everybody, for being with me. I do appreciate it. It was really lovely. Thanks to everybody at Signal who worked so hard to make Signal Network work so well. Big shout out to my partners, Kay and Jeremy, and to all of our amazing creators who have made 2025 amazing, who are going to continue to keep 2026 on track and growing in a positive direction for the paranormal. And to all my supporters of Scotty the Medium, you rock. Thank you so much. I will see you all soon. And what do we say at the end of broadcast, folks? Yeah, peace and peppermint.